do like a good thrift.
I love a thrift.
It's just
like,
always,
how is this $7?
How
that
is this
shouldn't be
$7?
possible. It's weird.
How did you get what do you call it? A game man? Gammon?
Gingham.
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 Is it called gingham for real?
I like your picnic print.
Like
do you think I'm making that up?
That just seems like a very specific name for checkerboard.
It's called gingham, you bumpkin.
Why not just call it checkerboard?
Because checkerboard is something else. The pattern.
Oh, like Burberry, gingham, and checkerboard are all 3 different kinds of squares. Is that right?
We'll go with that, yeah.
Is that close?
It's close. You even knowing that Burberry is checkered is actually quite impressive.
Isn't that a checkered pattern?
But
or some
when
kind?
you see the picnic table pattern on clothing, that squared pattern, the style of it is called gingham.
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 Not Gangnam Style?
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Gingham, you pig.
Gingham, you bumpkin.
Yeah, she seems very polite in real life.
If you're hot enough, nothing's rude.
I think Trixie is a persona. Drag, you're
Yes.
supposed to be obnoxious and kind of a bitch. That's the shtick.
You don't like me. You really don't like me.
I think sometimes people's drag personas are the opposite of their actual personas.
I want to see y'all being real. I think everyone's too nice.
Yeah, I think like it's an armor you wear and you can play a character.
This custom armor, darling, represents the warrior me, the fighter.
I bet Violet Chachki is a really nice person.
She's probably very quiet and introverted, and so she plays a very extroverted, you have that in you, but you're too nervous to release it. We can't just drink and like, we should put on a show.
No, you can just drink and
Well,
I mean, I had my 20s.
when they do live music at a place, they put a honky-tonk bar. Like, it just adds a little something more.
Do you think drag and honky-tonk bars go together?
Yeah, absolutely.
When a queen is in, she don't need no cowboy.
Bars are places people go to drink and
Yeah.
and
You say that like we didn't know that.
it's such an easy business model. You just need an open room and booze. So if you want a place that's successful, you have to add like one extra
An
thing.
entertainment factor.
Exactly.
So people have something to do while they
Exactly.
drink and try to hook up.
No one ever says, hey, let's go drink. It's implied.
You met my old school friends. And were like, yeah, let's go drink it.
Give us a smoke screen.
Ever smoked weed before?
We're not just here to get drunk. And I feel like that's where drag came from.
My drag, right?
I could be wrong, but now it feels very mainstream. They have drag millionaires. Did you ever think there'd be a drag millionaire?
There should be.
There should be, but you would not think that would be something that existed when we were growing up.
But there's a top 1% of every profession. Like, there are personal trainers who are millionaires, but that's not the common thing. Someone in Boston doing drag who hasn't been on television is not making millions.
I guess the point
I've
being is
seen the
like,
drag queens in Boston.
when RuPaul was in his 20s, he was living in the park.
Yeah.
Now he is, a multi-millionaire.
Whatever that man did, whether drag or anything else, he would have made millions.
Yes.
I think
very
RuPaul,
talented.
the business model he uses and how hard he works, whatever arena he had gone into, I think that would have been successful. I think it's also the art form, but I think Ru, the person, has done so much for the industry and the business itself.
What do you base that on?
He's the most known drag queen ever.
But what do we know about the most known people in most fields?
They're evil?
Yes. So are we only talking about the simulacrum of RuPaul or the actual RuPaul? Don't you feel like what you just said is so true? Doesn't it feel true?
It has nothing about his integrity. It's not, is he a good person? Is he a bad person? He's good at business.
Good at
I'm
business.
good at business.
Unless they are paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind.
If he had been an accountant, he would have been at the top field.
I can see
if
that.
If Rue, the human being, had decided to be a tap dancer, probably something in the form of celebrity, but maybe not drag. Like, if he had never worn women's clothing and wanted to be a musician that only presented as a boy, still would have been famous. Like, Rue is destined to be famous.
Very talented.
My mother saw a psychic when she was pregnant with me, and he's going to be famous. So I grew up knowing I would be famous, and I had to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to do that?
I think he just picked drag. He is one of the funniest people.
He is pretty funny,
He's so intelligent, he's so quick, and I don't care what form of entertainment. If you are funny, charming, can speak well, and have charisma.
Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, talent. What do these qualities have in common? I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
There's this great book, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Bounce. And they were talking about...
No, that's just a bad Gwyneth Paltrow movie.
We divorced each other.
Oh.
But in the book, there's this chapter where he talks about engineered versus biological solutions. And then they paid a bunch of biologists who had no engineering background, and they just started fucking around.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
We'll make the nozzle longer, shorter, fatter. Every version that was a little bit better, they just doubled down on that design. And that's how biology works. You just throw shit out there, whatever survives gets a little bit more like that thing. Yeah. As opposed to an engineer solution where you sit down and try to figure out how to make it better and then you fail.
Is your point we shouldn't ever, in a smart way, sit down and figure out how to improve something? We should just throw spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks?
I think spaghetti at the wall is a better solution.
I'm not saying that that doesn't work, to erase the let's sit and have smart people try to improve on a design or a function. I don't think that's wasted effort.
I think it is. And I think we've reached a level of manufacturing and technology where spaghetti is probably a better way to try to improve a process than engineering.
You're wearing a wetsuit. I can't take you seriously. We shouldn't have smart people design things. We should just throw shit at a wall. I'm wearing a wetsuit. I'm like, your credibility right now is not, the resume isn't kicking in.
There's a line from Dune, highly
I can't
focused.
do another Dune video. I can't do another Dune video. Oh my God. I almost killed myself editing that one.
And you learned a great deal.
No, I didn't.
Really? What do you remember?
Faffing.
Faffing
about. That's the only thing I remember.
Faffing about is the best way to do everything.
And they were saying, I'm not saying it isn't a good way, but it's not maybe the best way or the only way.
That's true. That is true. I don't want to faff about with airplanes.
Let's just see what happens. Let's roll the dice. You know, that with what Boeing's doing, maybe that is kind of their business model.
They've gone to the faffing about model.
Yeah, like, it doesn't. We don't need the doors to stay on while it's in the air.
Airplanes are a 9 Sigma product.
I can't do this Six Sigma bullshit. I can't.
This is a Six Sigma wheel of domination. It's a motivational tool.
But we went into a wine store and you were going through the Sigma training and the owner of the store was there and you guys geeked out over the Six Sigma, like Jack Donaghy style.
It would have been expensive, impractical, and offensive to both the red states and the gay or blue states.
20 minutes. A man who's never drank alcohol in his life with a sommelier geeking out. Like, no one goes to the grocery store for gum, but how many people have stood in line and bought gum?
Me? Never. I've never done it. I don't get that.
You are a rare person. You have holes in your sneakers and will not buy new ones.
Don't leave the grid, Ron. The grid is the best.
If anything, you need to get more on the grid.
Waterproof socks and you're wearing a wetsuit. You are not the typical consumer.
If you're off the grid, how are you going to post photos of the dope food at restaurants you're at and all the cool places you're stunting in?
Food is for eating. Places are for being. End of discussion.
Good point. Good point.
Erase.
No one, the Gap does not care about you. You are a weird,
Erase.
random,
Erase.
anti-capitalism person.
Erase all pictures of Ron.
No one's making money off of you.
Erase all pictures of Ron.
You're a waste of their time.
Erase all pictures
Voices have run.
What the hell is happening?
I'm gonna go live in the woods.
Yeah, that's who you're the target for.
The woods. Hi, here
Survivalist.
at the Woods Corporation.
You really should, with your likes and interests, you really should be an otter person, like a crazy person living in the woods, off
be
of the
happy in the
land. Like,
woods.
I don't want to go to the grocery store. I'm just gonna go skin a deer.
I'd be a good hermit, but I don't. One thing that I do love about modernity is I love temperature
What's
control.
modernity?
Modern life.
Rocco's Modern Life.
I like temperature control.
Yeah, you're not going to an outhouse.
I don't like being cold and I don't like being hot. So I guess I'll, that's modernity's biggest selling point for me is temperature
Air
control.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Centrally sees the only thing keeping you out of the woods.
It's pretty much, well, and heat.
You have a master's degree in science and psychology. How the hell do you not understand pasteurization?
Listen, I understand it, but, ultimately we're all idiots. That's just the central rule of everything. We're idiots.
Really? Your ignorance was obvious when you waddled up to me with your thin-lipped mouthful of greasy peasant food.